What if the very first sign of dementia isn't forgetting, but hating? Over 60% of dementia cases are first noticed by family members, not doctors, not because of memory loss, but due to something subtle changing. A harmless habit shifts into sudden hatred. These emotional rejections often signal the earliest stage of brain decline, long before anyone mentions dementia. In this video, you'll learn about 7 unusual hates that may be the brain's first warning signs. Each one comes from real stories, things caregivers and families have seen, often years before diagnosis. So, stay with me until the end. What you discover here might help protect someone you care about before it's too late. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss these vital health insights that could change lives. Let's start. Number 1. Hate certain people for no obvious reason. 70-year-old Donald became sure that his longtime neighbor was spying on him. Then he started avoiding the mailman, saying he gave off a bad vibe. At first, his wife believed he was just getting more irritable with age, but over time, things worsened. Donald stopped coming to family dinners because he said his son-in-law was part of a conspiracy. One morning, he refused to let the house cleaner inside, shouting through the door, "I know what you're doing." That was the moment his daughter insisted on a full cognitive exam. Donald was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia soon after, almost 3 years after the odd behavior started. Research shows early dementia can distort how the brain processes faces, tones, and intentions. What seems like sudden dislike or paranoia may be mixed with misreading social cues, a common early sign, especially with certain dementia types. New dementia videos daily. Feel free to subscribe. Number 2. Hate leaving your own home. Teresa, in her late 70s, began acting oddly in her own house. She walked from room to room, saying things felt wrong. Once, she asked her husband when they would move, even though they had lived there for 25 years. At first, her family thought she was just confused, but the disorientation grew over time. One night, Teresa stood by the window holding her purse and said, "I'm waiting for my real house to appear." The next morning, her husband found her outside in slippers, holding the mailbox and whispering, "This isn't my home." That moment finally pushed the family to seek a full evaluation. Teresa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease that week, nearly 2 years after the strange behavior began. Experts confirmed early dementia can disrupt spatial awareness and emotional recognition, causing people to act oddly, even in familiar places. When the brain can no longer match behavior to place, the home that once felt safe suddenly becomes frightening. Long before anyone suspects dementia. Are you finding these clinical signs useful? Type 1. If these insights help, or 0 if you want other topics covered. Your input guides what I explain next. Number 3. Hate mirrors or their own reflection. At 73, Sheila suddenly started avoiding mirrors. She said they made her feel watched. Once, she asked her daughter to cover the eyes in the hallway mirror. At first, the family thought it was funny, but things got weirder. Sheila began yelling at her bedroom mirror, accusing the reflection of copying her. One morning, she threw a towel over the hallway mirror and whispered, "She keeps staring at me wrong." That's when her son called for a full checkup. Sheila was later diagnosed with mixed dementia, both Alzheimer's and vascular dementia. It was only a year and a half after the strange mirror behavior began. Her family felt guilty for not getting help sooner. Studies suggest mirror misidentification, when someone no longer recognizes their own reflection, is an early sign of visual processing failure. The brain starts misreading familiar images, causing fear, mistrust, or even aggression. Most people miss early dementia signs, not because they don't watch carefully, but because they look for the wrong clues. It doesn't always start with memory problems. Sometimes, the first hint is emotional, a sudden rejection, a strange complaint, or growing discomfort with something once familiar and safe. That's how it begins, quietly, and by the time it's clear, the damage has already started. Let's continue. Number 4. The feeling of water moving on your skin. 17-year-old Kenneth started skipping showers, saying water felt strange. He began wiping himself with towels instead. His wife thought he was just being lazy, but things got stranger. Kenneth started flinching, washing his hands repeatedly, and once told his grandson that soap burned like acid. The turning point came when he poured a bottle of cologne on his head and said, "Showers are for fools." That was the day his family finally arranged a neurological evaluation. Kenneth was diagnosed with Alzheimer's later that month, nearly 2 years after he first started acting oddly. His wife regretted not taking the warning signs seriously until it was too late. Experts confirm that dementia can interfere with how the brain processes temperature and texture. As sensory signals become distorted, everyday experiences like bathing or washing can feel irritating, painful, or depressing. If you're still with me and find this valuable, type 1 below and hit the like button. It really helps support the channel and lets us know you want more content like this. Number 5. A disease that changes how foods taste. 3 years before her mixed dementia diagnosis, 80-year-old Carolyn started rejecting foods she once loved. She pushed away mashed potatoes at dinner, calling them slimy, and once spat out her favorite cherry pie, saying it tasted metallic. At first, her family dismissed it as a simple change in preference, but over time, her refusals became stronger. Carolyn once slammed down a spoonful of potatoes and shouted, "Stop trying to trick me," after tasting homemade soup. The moment came when she accused her son of poisoning the peanut butter and refused it for days. That's when her family finally insisted on a cognitive exam and heard what they feared. Neurologists confirmed dementia can disrupt the brain's ability to process taste and smell, making familiar foods taste bitter, metallic, or burnt. Sudden food aversions are often mistaken for fussiness, but they may be one of the brain's earliest warning signs. Number 6. Certain clothing or fabrics. 69-year-old Denise became obsessed with how her clothes felt. She ripped tags out of every shirt, tore the sleeves off, and once cut the waistband from her favorite jeans with scissors. At first, her daughter thought it was just a phase, but the complaints grew stranger over time. Denise said cotton made her skin scream, and claimed sweaters crawled when no one was watching. They laughed when she showed up to church wearing only a raincoat over her nightgown, saying it was the only thing that didn't attack her. That day, her family arranged a full neurological workup. She was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, nearly 2 years after the clothing sensitivity began. A major study reported that tactile sensitivity and irrational discomfort with fabrics are early signs of sensory dysphoria and dementia. As the brain loses control over interpreting touch, textures can feel threatening or unbearable. Number 7. Hating the sound of music they once loved. 2 years before his Alzheimer's diagnosis, 76-year-old Larry grew irritated by music. He turned off the radio during car rides, called his favorite jazz albums noise, and once yelled, "Why does everything sound like silence during a quiet piano recital?" His wife thought he was joking, but over time, his reaction became emotional. One day, Larry covered his ears during a family gathering and said the birthday song was trying to melt his brain. Larry took a dark turn and smashed the stereo with a broom, claiming it made the walls hum. That outburst finally convinced his family to seek help, and the diagnosis confirmed what they feared. Findings suggest dementia can change how the brain processes sound, turning familiar music into an overwhelming or distorted experience. What once brought joy can suddenly feel unbearable, not due to mood, but neurological disruption. If someone you love suddenly rejects things they once cherished, don't ignore it. These aren't just mood swings or personality changes. They could be the brain's earliest cry for help. The sooner you recognize the signs, the sooner you get help. Because with dementia, early is everything. And there you have it. What are your thoughts? We love hearing from you. Which of these signs resonated most or surprised you? Share your experiences or questions below. Your comments inspire us to keep creating life-changing health tips. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss critical updates to protect your loved ones. Please share this video with friends and family. Together, we can build a healthier, more aware community.